Hello and welcome to Woke Watch, an ongoing series of videos where I find the wokest stories on the internet. And this week I'm happy to say there's yet another example of an attempt at woke virtue signalling going spectacularly wrong, because a well-known organisation, in attempting to show how fucking progressive it is, well, I won't say it's backfired, it's more like they've accidentally thrown a pin at someone and realised they're still holding the hand grenade. The charitable organisation Oxfam does a lot of good around the world, so it would be wrong of me to remind us that just after the earthquake in Haiti there was a scandal where Oxfam workers were found to be using money, donated money given by hard-working men and women to pay for prostitutes. It would also be wrong if I said that as recently as 2019 Oxfam tried to cover up that some of its workers were violating, shall we say, girls as young as 12. No, don't pay any attention to any of that. It's June, so it's Pride Month. And because it's June, Oxfam, like every other large corporation, is vomiting rainbows onto all and sundry. Now, when it comes to the LGBTQIA+ community, I've been an advocate for what used to be called gay rights for decades. And like most people, I'm a big supporter of the L's, the G's and the B's, because those are sexualities. You don't get to pick yours. However, like many people, I'm also concerned about the way the whole movement has been hijacked by the TQ cult. But let's be honest here, it's a cash grab. These large corporations that don't give a shit about that community for 11 months of the year, suddenly when June comes round, they're all about it. It's nothing but virtue signalling. And because we're celebrating the alphabet people this month, Oxfam put out the following advert. And it hasn't gone down well.
How are you marking Pride Month this year? While LGBTQIA+ people around the world are deprived of basic safety, not protected by laws, preyed on by hate groups online and offline, discriminated against at work, deprived of opportunities and pushed to the margins. But pride can be found etched deeply in the hand of a friend, the hug of a chosen family member, or the safe spaces of a kind community. This Pride Month, we take pride in those who protect and champion safety for LGBTQIA+ people. We all must stand together with queer folks, online, at work, in schools, in sport, through laws, everywhere. We call to protect the pride. Are you with us?
Now, the advert makes a lot of good points. There are some countries in the world where it's still illegal to be homosexual. That is fucking barbaric. But in the Western world, in particular in the UK and North America, I'm told the struggle is largely over. The gays and lesbians I know, plus countless others I see online, are saying we've got our equality, and many are trying to distance themselves from the Pride movement because it's been hijacked, like I said, by not the L's, the G's or the B's, the next letter. The letter that has to make everything about them and can never stop banging on about how oppressed they are, even though largely they aren't. But pandering towards this community is where it's gone very wrong for Oxfam. I'll amend that. Very wrong is an understatement. Rather, this is where Oxfam has utterly fucked itself. There's a couple of issues. The first one being this image, because it appears to show a trans man who's had top surgery, and of course trans men are women more often than not with undiagnosed mental health problems such as autism, who've been brainwashed into thinking if they appear to be a man, everything will be okay. Sadly, that usually isn't the case. So that person has scarring where they've had a totally unnecessary double mastectomy. And the person standing next to him is wearing a shirt that says, "Protect trans kids." Yes, that's an issue. There are variations depending on where you are in the world, but generally, in the West, we all agree that if a person is under 18, they are not mature enough to vote, serve in the armed forces, buy alcohol, smoke, or even get a tattoo. So, how can someone who can't do any of those things because they're not mature enough possibly be trusted to undergo life-changing, irreversible surgery? To any decent human being, that idea is abhorrent. but not to Oxfam apparently, and that still isn't the big issue. No, the big problem was with this image, the oppressors, staring down hatefully at the LGBTQIA+ community. The issue is the character in the middle, the woman with the red hair and a badge reading TERF, because pretty much everyone worked out who that is an effigy of, although Oxfam deny it. That drawing bears a resemblance to J.K. Rowling, a woman who defends women's rights and is against childhood mutilation, and somehow has been labelled a TERF. And of course, the toxic members of the trans community cannot stand her because she's a successful woman. And these toxic members can't stand successful women. They can't stand women. They don't want to integrate into the female community. They want to fucking replace it. Oxfam released a statement, which I couldn't be bothered to write down, so I'll just say they made an apology. More than that, they said, "We have made a mistake." Oxfam, no you fucking didn't. You know full well what you were doing with that advert, but sadly, you didn't factor in, first of all, Harry Potter is fucking popular, and secondly, they fell into the wokest mistake ever. Putting the rights of trans women over the rights of actual women. Less than 1% of the population who are male, so they have all the rights that men do, over the rights of women who've had to fight for centuries for something approaching equality. Of course, there's nothing wrong with supporting Pride Month. My band is playing a gig this weekend to raise money for Staffordshire Pride. But when it's done in such a blatant virtue signalling manner, when you have someone like Oxfam going, "Look at us, we're supporting these oppressed people." First of all, how oppressed are they? Because they're on the news every fucking day. And not only that, when you have Oxfam, who were supporting trans women, but 4 years ago its members were caught diddling 12-year-old girls. Yeah, everyone's seen through that. That's not a nice way to end this video, but I'm going to. As ever, thanks for watching. That was meant to be the end of the video, but since then I've got home, checked Twitter, and the hashtag #OxfamHatesWomen is currently trending.